Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've done something that I hope will be a little bit educational. I've done it in two parts, so the eye makeup that I'm wearing right now, it is not in this video here. Well, it is, but it's split into two. So this is technically part one, and then I've also gone and done a part two. So in part one, I'm going to show you the exact basics of how to create a cut crease. Now, if you have hooded eyes, this is going to be your best friend. Once you understand how to do a cut crease on your eyes, you will be able to pull off most makeup looks that you see. If you're flicking through Instagram and you see a makeup but you can't do it on your hooded eyes, do a cut crease first, and then I'm sure you're going to be able to do whatever look you want to be able to do. As you guys know, I do a lot of different looks with cut creases for you guys with hooded eyes because, like I say, it is going to be your best friend if you do have hooded eyes, because basically it gives the illusion of having a crease much higher and much more precise than what us people with hooded eyes actually do. In this video, I'll tell you how high up to go with your cut crease, because I know a lot of you guys were struggling with that. If you don't have a lot of space between your eye and your eyebrow, it can be a little bit difficult to know where to actually place your cut crease, but I hope that I will have answered that in this video. So keep on watching if you want to learn in depth and precisely and easily and simply how to do a cut crease on hooded eyes, and just how to do a cut crease in general if you are a beginner. I really hope that you'll find this helpful. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Okay, love you, bye. Okay, I totally forgot to record this bit, so what I'm doing is highlighting underneath the arch of the brow bone and in the inner corners of the eyes. I'm using the Sigma Ravishing Loose Shimmer for this because it's beautiful and white and very highlighting. Now I'm applying my transition colour to the crease. I'm using Languid from the Sigma Brilliant and Spellbinding palette. It's just a medium brown tone all through the crease. At the moment, we're just softly diffusing the crease. You don't have to worry about being too precise or anything like that. Just make sure that your transition colour covers the hood of your eye. So if you look front on, make sure that you are applying the eyeshadow on the hood of the eye that kind of droops down a little bit. You don't want to apply this colour underneath it or just above it. You want to get it right on that hood. If your hood goes right into the inner corners of the eyes, apply the shadow there as well, but don't let it be too dark on the inner corners of the eyes because that's going to make them look a little bit sunken and a little bit too close together. So you want to keep the darkest part of the eyeshadow on the outer corners of the eyes and the lightest colour on the inside. So use your matte transition colour to follow your hood everywhere it goes. To give the eyes a winged, elongated effect, which looks good on every single eye shape, I like to blend my colour a little bit out towards the outer corners of the eyes, like this. So you're not actually applying any colour there because that's not going to look very good, but with whatever is left on your brush and whatever excess there is on your eyelid, that's what you want to blend outwards so that it gradually fades away to nothing like that. See, I'm applying this directly on the hood, like that. And then I'm going to blend it out from there and follow the hood all the way in. Now I'm taking a matte brown shadow. This one is, I would call it a medium brown. It's not as dark as that, for example, but it's not as light as our transition color. So this is going to add another gradient effect, which you want. So you don't want to go straight into your cut crease after doing this color because this one is just not dark enough to blend everything together. I can't remember what this one is exactly. I've depotted it. I think it might be from SauceBox, but I'll put it in the description box down below. Now I'm taking a smaller, fluffy blending brush. This one is the E39 from Sigma, and I'm taking a very small amount of this on my brush at first. I'm just dabbing it in, tap off the excess, and then put a little bit on the back of your hand so you can actually see how much you're working with there. As you can see, this eyeshadow is extremely pigmented, so you really don't need a lot of it. Now I know how much I've got left on my brush. I'm going to start putting that over the top of my transition color, but I'm not going to bring it up as high and I'm not going to bring it down as low. So I basically want it to be right in the middle of my crease. Okay, now it's time to cut the crease. So for that, you can use a very dark brown, or you can use a black. You can use anything you want as long as it's darker than the colors that you've already applied. For the sake of it, I'm just going to use a matte black. I've got Carbon from MAC here. For this, you want to use the smallest brush that you can find. I had one of my followers on Instagram tell me that she used a lip brush to do this, which I thought was an absolutely brilliant idea. So if you don't have a tiny fine detailing brush, but you do have a lip brush and it's fine, use that. Her name, by the way, was Pretty Sunny Days, so if you want to check out her Instagram, go ahead. Anyway, I'm using this tiny little brush here. I'm taking my matte black, and again, take a very small amount because you want to know how much you're working with at a time. You don't want to apply a massive load to your eye and then have nowhere to blend it out, so always work with a tiny bit at a time. Now, the placement of where you're actually going to cut the crease is directly above the hood of your eye. So see, for example, It's hard to see now that we've applied the transition colour and all the other colours into the crease, but basically what you need to do is look at yourself front on in the mirror, where the natural crease of your eye is, so where the skin is, apply your cut crease about 1 or 2 millimeters above that. Basically, in simpler terms, you want to apply your cut crease above the hood of the eye. So here's the hood of my eye. I'm going to apply mine about here. So I like to do a little dot first of all, so I can actually see how high I'm going to bring my cut crease up, and then I do tiny little dots from there and join them all up at the end. If you try and do one line, it's going to be very difficult and possibly impossible. Play join the dots, it's far easier. And also it may help to lean on your face to do this to steady your hand. Okay, so I've got all my little dots here. Now I'm going to very gently and carefully join them all together. So all my dots are joined together and now I have the start of my cut crease. Yay! I feel like that's the hardest part over, to be honest. Also, unless you're going for like a 60s Twiggy-esque look, don't bring your line of your cut crease anywhere past the inner corner of your eye, because then you start going, yeah, Twiggy territory. So I'm going to leave mine directly even with the inner corner of my eye. I'm now taking a bullet brush. This one I got from Lime Lily Cosmetics from back when I was in college, and I don't actually know where you can buy these from, being completely honest, and it is an Australian company from what I'm aware of, so you can't actually get this overseas, but loads of companies sell bullet brushes, so I'll put a link to a globally available one in the description box down below. Anyway, as you can see, this brush has a tapered edge. It's not very bendy, so it'll keep our line exactly where we want it, and it's not going to blend it out all wishy-washy. Which brings me to the fact that we are going to very softly blend that line out, not too much, just a little. So now before I show you the next step, I'm going to quickly go ahead and do the same to this eye here so that they are nice and even. By the way, if your eyes are uneven, so if you've got a different hood on this side to what you do on this side, a cut crease will allow you to slightly rectify that a little bit, basically as much as what any makeup will allow you to do. But just make sure whatever you do, the two cut creases that you draw on will be equal to each other, so that you don't have one cut crease up here and one down here. That way you can give the illusion of your eyelids being even. Okay, I've just moved closer to the camera so I can show you my eyes up close. I just wanted to show you where I've placed my cut crease compared to where the crease of my natural eye is. So hopefully you can actually see that. Okay, now next step, taking the exact same little detailer brush and or lip brush, whatever you have at hand, I'm going back in with the matte medium brown, that guy there, and I'm going to place this colour directly above the black. So I'm following the exact line of the black that we just placed there in the cut crease, but with a darker brown, and that's just going to help them fade into one and not look like you've got a black line on your eye crease. So just place it a little bit above. Let it taper off towards the inner corners of the eyes. So it's like that, so it just makes it that little bit softer. You can skip that, by the way, if you want a bolder cut crease. It's only a small step, but it does make a big difference in how blended your eye looks. Okay, now on to the fun part. This is my favourite part, hands down. Take a little bit of concealer or a bit of foundation, whatever you like. Also doesn't really matter what colour it is, but probably the lighter the better, because that's going to make your eyes pop. I'm just going to use Revlon Colour Stay in the colour 110 Ivory. Put a little bit of it on the back of your hand, so you can use your hand as a palette, like so. Find yourself a flat concealer brush. I'm just going to use this one here by Hair and Makeup Addiction. Take a little bit of your foundation or concealer on the brush, and then we're just going to go in and tidy up the cut crease, and it's going to make it far more precise, because as you can see at the moment, all our eyeshadow is coming down onto the mobile lid, and that's not what we want. I'm going directly underneath the black cut crease that we applied. You want to apply your foundation directly below it and bring it right up to the black. Now what you want to do before your foundation or concealer creases in the eye area, which doesn't really look very good, is you want to set it in place with a powder. You can use absolutely any eyeshadow you want for this depending on what look you're going for. You could use a color if you want to. You could use a white if you want to make it look more neutral, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just taking this off-white color here. Again, I think this is from my SauceBox palette. I'm taking this color here on my original highlighting brush here, which is the Sigma E55, and I'm going to pat that directly on top of where I've applied the foundation just to set it in place and make sure it's not going to crease in my crease. So as you can see, this eye now stands out a lot more than this one, and so as you can see, the foundation trick does make a difference. Now I'm going to quickly go ahead and do this eye, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay. So I've got both cut creases done. This eye, by the way, is a little bit uneven. The hood on this one comes down a little bit more and it's a little bit more pronounced, like it pokes out more, it's more puffy. And so I've evened them up so they look slightly the same now. So that is the basics of the cut crease completely done. So that is the fundamentals of a cut crease. Now, depending on what look you want to go for is where you will go from there, if that makes any sense. So you could apply a thick winged liner, you could smoke up the edges, you could smoke up underneath the lash line. It's completely up to you. This is the fundamentals of the cut crease. You can take this and then do any single eye look that you want to with these basics. Alright guys, so there's that part of the video finished. If you want to see how I created this eye look here from that eye look that you just saw, then keep on watching for part 2. But of course part 2 won't be called part 2 because that sounds really, really boring. So I'll give it some nice fancy name, and then once it's edited and uploaded, I'll link it in the description box down below for you. By the way, I should have mentioned every single thing that I've used, everything that I've mentioned, everything that was on my face before I started this video, all the skincare that I used prior to that, my underwear, whatever I'm wearing, that's a joke by the way, will be linked in the description box down below for you so that you can find everything nice and easily. Please come and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My Instagram is Stephanie Lang Makeup. My Twitter is Steffi Lang MUA. Stephanie Lang Makeup was taken apparently. They will be linked in the description box down below for you as well in case you do want to check them out. What else? If you like this video and you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up because that's always helpful for me. Subscribe to my channel. There'll be a button in one of these corners, probably this one? I don't know. And that'll make it nice and easy for you to subscribe if you so do want to. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys to the moon and back. You have no idea. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!